Alright team, here's some extra resources for you, a quick tutorial for the 8-week life hack about habit creation. By now you would have done video number 5, all about behaviors, and had that realization that your daily actions, your daily behaviors, your automated routines dictate what you achieve and the standard of your life. Now, for all their importance, habits are a difficult subject. Yes, you'll read about how it takes 21 days or 28 days to create a habit. Look, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's only been a few research studies, qualified studies, quantified studies. And essentially what it tells us is that there's an early adoption phase. So habits will be formed between 18 and 254 days. And the average is somewhere in here at 66 days. As you can see, majority kind of get done here. Majority get formed in that earlier period. Now, what we're talking about there then is if we want to form a habit with the 8-week life hack, well then we might want to do the habit over that entire 8 weeks, but even more so, we want to be looking at 2 to 3 months worth of creating the habit to ensure it's a habit that sticks for us. And what we can learn from this study is 3 main points. One is early adoption matters. Early adoption matters. Make sure you get the habit right early on. 2, consistency matters. One of the key things is if you miss a day, that's actually okay. The studies show that it didn't matter you miss a day. A lot of people think, 21 straight days. Well, that doesn't matter so much. If you miss 1 day, it's okay. Just don't miss 2. So consistency matters. Another thing that matters is the simplicity of it. Breaking it down into small steps. The more complex, the harder it was the habit to stick. An example of that might be, it was easy for people to create a habit of drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, simple step. It was harder for them to create the habit of drinking 4 litres over the day. That's a more complex scenario. Like a fitness habit, it was easier for people to get up and go for a walk around the block in the morning than it was for them to commit to a full-time gym program as far as creating a habit is concerned. So keep these 3 things in mind when creating the habits that you want to create. Early adoption, be consistent. If you miss a day, don't hate yourself. Just don't miss 2 days in a row, and keep it simple. The more complex, the harder it is for the habit to stick. So keep those things in mind as we go about creating the habits. And in terms of the 8-week life hack and our philosophy, there are 6 things I want you to think about. The first 2 are about our values base and then the desired result. And the second 4 things are about actually creating the habit. So as you'll see on your worksheet, we begin with what's the underlying value that we're associating with the habit. Next, what's the result that we want? So this might be relative to that outrageous end goal, or it might be relative to a progress task, or perhaps it's relative to a personal trait for the day, or perhaps it's relative to a signpost we want to achieve. So that's kind of the result that we want from the habit. Then we want to talk about formation of habits. Now the psychology behind it says there's 4 things. There's cue and craving, then there's the habit, or the actual routine, and then there's a reward for the habit. So let's take the idea of brushing your teeth. Perhaps you get out of the shower and you've got bad breath, and so the cue is bad breath / getting out of the shower, so you crave to brush your teeth. You brush your teeth, minty fresh is the reward. Perhaps people have already got a running habit in the morning. You wake up, and you want to get energized for the day. So waking up is the cue, craving, get energized for the day. Go for the run is the habit. Reward is feeling energized, feeling energetic. We can take smoking, for instance. Cue, getting in the car, craving, nicotine, have a smoke, reward, feel that nicotine craving. Good habits, bad habits. All have cue, craving, habit, routine, and reward. And what we're going to talk about there is trigger is the cue, craving. Habit, obviously, is the habit, and then reward. So 3 steps is what we talk about in the 8-week life hack. So you've got the trigger, you've got the habit, or the routine, and you've got the reward that you're going to create. This number 3 is the standard. it's key that we make a standard out of the habit that we want to create. Okay, so I'll give two really simple examples of habits that we might want to create. First one, I'll just take fitness. Let's say you want to create a habit of going to the gym. All right, so the underlying value is probably fitness, or you might be able to find some other things there. Maybe you've got the ambition of being fitter, and maybe family. You know, a lot of people know that once you've had a family, you realize, you know, kids are going to be around for a long time. You actually want to be a fitter, healthier, happier person to live with them for a longer period of time. So we find the value underlying that we want to rely on to create the habit. The result let's say it's to lose 5 kilograms. You know, get fitter to lose 5 kilograms. Okay, so the habit that we want to create, habit or routine, is to go to the gym. Okay, what's the standard? Well, we're going to say 5 out of 7 days. We're going to say at 6 a.m. And we're going to say it's going to be at least a 45-minute class. Okay? Is that making sense on what I want from these different areas? The value is the underlying value, you know, the thing within here that makes you want to do it. The result is what goal is it associated to. The standard is what is the standard of what we're doing? So if the habit or routine is simply going to the gym, what standard? You know, you could go one a day and still, I've created a habit of going to the gym once a week. What we're really talking about here is 5 out of 7 days at 6 a.m. in the morning and at least 45 minutes. All right, well, what's the trigger going to be and what's the reward? Because these are the things that matter in creating the habit. Now, if you think back to those 3 points that I said to keep in mind, early adoption, consistency, and making sure that you do the simple things first. Okay, so I want you to keep those things in mind as you create these triggers, because if you only got at 6 a.m, it's probably when you wake up. But the most complex thing is going all the way from waking up to the gym. So let's break it down into simple steps. Waking up, all right, by the alarm. Let's not have the ability to snooze the alarm, so let's put the alarm outside the bedroom. Okay, so that's the first habit that we want to create. Waking up and going and turn the alarm off outside the bedroom gets us out of bed, gets us out of the bedroom. Next to the alarm, let's put our gym gear. You know, simple steps. After the gym gear, outside into the car, you know, drive car to gym, and then you're at the gym. So let's say they're the steps. So the trigger is waking up. Waking up to an alarm outside the bedroom, have to get up and go to turn off the alarm. Next to the alarm is our gym gear, which is the next step. So that's the next habit. Waking up, alarm outside bedroom, putting on my gym gear. Once I've got my gym gear on, you know, it's straight into outside and get in the car. Trigger is waking up, alarm outside bedroom, putting on my gym gear, going outside, getting in car. There's another habit we can make. Trigger is waking up, outside to the bedroom, gym gear, outside in the car, drive car to the gym. Then when you're at the gym, it's pretty easy to go inside. So instead of the trigger just being, in the morning I wake up and go to the gym, the trigger is wake up, which triggers me to go to the alarm outside the bedroom, which triggers me to put my gym gear on, which triggers me to get outside into the car, which triggers me to drive to the gym, which triggers me to be at the gym, and I'm at the gym forming my habit, keeping my standard of 5 out of 7 days at 6 a.m, 45 minutes. Now, reward. Obviously the reward to these steps along the way is that it gets you to the gym. But you know, maybe give yourself a reward of, you could look at something financial for yourself. Maybe if you hit 4 weeks in a row, you'll give yourself a present. Okay, we can look at something even better. The reward of going to the gym is feeling good. You know, so remember that idea, remember those endorphins, remember that feeling. Maybe another reward is going with a gym partner and being accountable to them. Could be a reward. Another reward could be, you know, coffee after the gym. One of the rewards that I have from going to the gym so early is that I've done it before everyone else. I go to the gym at 4 a.m. and I know when I'm leaving the gym, people are only just starting to arrive for their first class. Makes me feel good that I've gotten up and I've done those things before everyone else. That's my reward. So that's what I want you to think about when you're creating habits. Value, what underlying value, result, what's it directed towards, the habit you want to form, the standard of that habit, and then creating the triggers. And when you're creating the triggers, remember to keep it simple. Simple steps, not too complex. Give yourself a reward. If you miss a day, if you miss one of these going through, don't hate yourself. just don't miss 2. And the studies show that if you miss too many days, you won't create the habit, so adopt it early. Okay, so what are we going to talk about next? I'll give you another quick idea of a habit you might be able to form, maybe at work, maybe you want a promotion. So the value that you're aligning it to is all those things that keep you at work. Maybe one of them is ambition, and one of them is helping more people. And so the promotion can do that for you. All right, so what's the result you're looking for? Is to get the promotion, to make that next step up. So you've done those first 2. Third, what's the standard? Don't know yet. What's the habit? What's the trigger? And what's the reward? Okay? You want to get a promotion? What's a habit that we can create? A habit we can create might be to make 10 extra phone calls per day. Okay, so the standard is 10 phone calls every day at 10 a.m. Now, I'm obviously giving an example of a phone call, so you might be a salesperson and you want a promotion, so you want to get more sales. So what's the trigger? You set an alarm for 10 a.m. that says make phone calls. If that's too complex, maybe you also have your script next to your phone and a list already done from the day before of the people you're going to call. So they're the triggers, and making sure it's simple. Remember that idea of simple, not too complex. Reward, you'll feel good after you've made the 10 phone calls. So make sure maybe feeling good's enough. Maybe another reward is if you've made 10 phone calls, maybe one of them is slightly successful. So you email your boss to say, I spoke to X and he said Y. That's a small reward. So trigger, alarm, 10 a.m. You've got to make phone calls. You've got your script next to your phone. You've got a list of the 10 people you're going to call. Your habit is to make the 10 phone calls per day. The reward is either feeling good, or if something happens from the phone calls, you put that into the system and suddenly you're getting more. It'll end up getting, you get the performance, you get the promotion. Standard is 10 phone calls per day at 10 a.m. Simple ideas for habits you can create, and making sure you hit each of those 6 reasons to keep it in line with the 8-week life hack, and then focusing on these 3 for the formation of habits.